Alright guys, we're back. We're going to try some more of this today. Welcome back to the Sapling with Myra Mad Channel and Baron Von Mad at your service. So let's see what we got going on. Let's make sure everything's turned on properly. That's not what I was looking for. That is. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and let's see. We got species wise. Okay. Got this weird eyeless thingy. It's a lot of weird critters. I'm still wondering how that swims. That thing's ugly. So, alright. Let's look at our plants now. Let's get rid of this one. Get rid of that. Let's see what the number one is. Lobelia is still number one. These leaves have not changed a whole lot other than this one here. And that one died out, and that one died out. Okay. Let's hit it again. Now, a minute ago when we did this, the thing went to 0, so let's see what we got now. We got 6 plant species, 31 animal, 53 algae. Let's see it. We'll start with the algae, even though, honestly, algae is algae after all. It's either slime or kelp. You figure that out. Okay, so we got a whole bunch of, it's probably a really colorful ocean, even without the animals in it. Which actually I like. It reminds me of one of my paintings. Okay, we got a new leaf. Got this weird thing here. Let's see. There we are. We've got this, which is new. Got this thing that kind of looks like a cycad. It's a little gourd shape at the bottom. Got another one of these. Okay. Now let's look at the critters. Alright. Let's see. This little guy is now the number one. He's got a fairly generalized mouth. This one here is a dedicated plant eater. You can tell by the little mouth. And this one's a slightly bigger version of it. These two seem to be related. This one not so much, even though it's converging on this one. But this one here looks a little like this one. And you've got this one here. Let's see. But do we have anything? Have we developed any limbs yet? We haven't developed. We don't have any eyes. Well, this one's got eyes, but it's on the way back, so this thing's basically a floating head. There's a weird one. Alright, we got one of them here that's a big filter feeder. And there's that mouth again. Alright, let's hit it again. Let's see what we get. Okay, so we got the plants, the algae species went down, the plant species went up, and the animal species went up, but they're still stuck in the sea. And let's see what the most common is. So the direction they're wanting to go is like this. These guys is fairly simple hold fast, so that usually comes from something that's on the ground and can't bury itself up into the dirt very well. Let's see. Let's check this now. Okay, now these are still holding on to their spot. But you've got this one here that's actually starting to move up. It's kind of got its own little leaf going on. Now, then we'll look around outside before we go speeding up again. Alright, now, let's look through here and see if we've got anything interesting going on. These things don't seem to like developing eyes very much. They don't get beyond photoreceptors, and then those usually die out. So, let's look at our plant here. That's a Lobelia. Okay, that's the one that's the first type that we encountered up on this mountain. Is that another Lobelia? No, that's a different one. That's a datum. I don't know what the difference is other than the fact that it's got 2 different types of leaves, which I find a little interesting. Let's see these. Oh, we got some more over here. Let's see what this is. Lavalia. That's a Lavalia because the other ones over there are Lavalia. It's green rather than brown. Waltz, and that's that other one that they've got like 40 of now. Alright, let's take a cruise through the sea. Oh, okay, my screen's wanting to do some things here. Okay, my keyboard rather. Let's take. Let's see, we've got these things here. Let's hit it again. Okay, we've got a lot more. The algae seems to be declining. The animals seem to be more or less together. Now we're going to have to wait and let the stuff load. There it is. So we've got some new plants. Let's see what we got. We'll go over here. We didn't have anything over here before. Okay, so the Lavalia's now changing its color. Or at least it's getting some, that's a datum, I'm betting. Oh, it's a new species. Okay. Let's see. Okay. We got these kind of almost, very simple leaves. What's this one here? Okay, so the Lavalias are pretty well dominant right now. That seems to be the dominant plant right now. That's also a Lavalia. I don't know why there's so many. There seems to be a great deal of variation. Lesser Lavalia. So we have a miniature species. That's what they're calling it. Alright, let's look at all of it because we can see a lot of it. We can also see what we've got going on here. Let's see. So the Lavalia is still holding on. There's a greater one and a lesser one, so there's 3 different varieties of the species. I'm not sure what the difference is. Okay, now look at the animals. Let's see. Oh, okay, so we got this guy. So these little short ones seem to be taking over. And these big ones are becoming more rare. Which makes me wonder why. Maybe the big ones just don't move fast enough. Or maybe it takes too much food to feed them. So let's run this again. I'm really kind of hoping to get land animals here at some point. So far, now we've got a lot of plant species going on. They're almost even with algae. So taking a bit of a dip. Let's see what we got. As you can see, we've got this polar region right through here that's creating effectively a barrier. Okay, we got some stuff growing up on the mountainside. Beyond what anything can move. Okay. We've got these black ones up here. Let's look at what we got. They're actually starting to get up the mountain, which is interesting. Okay, we got a new species, the Varia, which is taller. What is that hanging down? Let's look at this close. Ah, apparently it now has a hot pepper. It's growing one hot pepper and two apples. It's like it doesn't know what it wants to be. From the stem, from the leaves, from the roots, it's using all of the energy that it can get. It's got a minor amount of resistance, but a fairly nominal temperature resistance. And it is most definitely not fire resistant. Eating does not do damage. The stem is edible, and there's no place for animals to perch or put nests in, so I'm not going to be seeing any tree climbers on that guy. Alright. Let's look at our animals. I'm waiting for something to develop limbs of some kind. Okay, we got one big species, one long one, a bunch of short ones. Hey, we got eyes. That's kind of important if it can survive. You would think something that was capable of seeing would have an advantage, but in this particular world, I'm not so sure. Let's see what this does. You got to be careful your time jumping on this thing because sometimes it'll just not do anything you want it to. So we've got lots and lots of plants, and the algae and animal species are slowly taking over the land, which is a good thing because it'll make it be more of an incentive for creatures to come out on land. Right now, we would be what they would consider maybe the Devonian. So we've got this new one here. Okay, what are these? Greater Labolians. Okay. Move over here to the other island. Let's see what we got over here. Okay, so we got something with a fairly new leaf set. Okay. Now let's look at the animals. I'm trying to get I'd like to get a terrestrial ecosystem rolling here. Okay, so these one or two of the big ones left. But nothing has developed a limb. And the stuff that develops eyes seems to go extinct. I think this one may have eyes, but it's very low on it. I don't know why being blind is an evolutionary advantage on this planet. Oh, it doesn't have eyes, it just has nipples on the sides of its head. The thing is an udder head. It has two sets of udders on either side of its head. Now, on the upside, it means it's feeding its young milk, which is a good way of making sure that the young grow up better. But on the other hand, it has nipples on the sides of its head and looks like one of those doppelgangers from your That's Not My Neighbor. My oldest back here seeing what I did there. 83 plant species. You guys should play That's Not My Neighbor. That game is funny. I don't know if I could record it or anything, but it's a trip, to be sure. Alright, we're getting plants growing in odds. They're not right up on the caps, but they are close. Let's see. thing so far is on the northern part of the planet. You have a plant growing out in the middle of the river. That's odd. It's a shallow sea there, but let's see if there's any animals on the other side over here. Like algae. Are there any animals here? Yes, there are. Okay. These are the short, little abbreviated dudes. The weird half tail. Let's go see what's on the other side over here, on this side of the ring. Similar creatures. I don't know why being blind is such an evolutionary advantage. Anybody could tell me that would be a thing. You would think that something developed a way of seeing when everybody else is blind. You would think that would be considered an advantage. Okay, we've got something with eyes over here. Once again, it's a floating head. We've got something over here with eyes on the body. It's actually starting some crude photoreceptors. I'm hoping that becomes a thing that they should be encouraged to have. That and possibly limbs, as it is now, kind of, they're just basically torsos. Like I said, right now, I would say if we were on Earth, I would say this planet is stuck sort of like the early Carboniferous or the Devonian. There's no Earth, there's no vertebrates on land. Okay, so we've got quite a few plant species. So the plants are actually taking off. We've got some forest. I just don't know why we don't have, but we're losing biodiversity with the animals. And they're still stuck in the sea for some reason. I wonder if anything will ever grow up into that ice cap, into that tundra. Well, we do have something in the tundra. Alright. Plants everywhere. This one. A greater wall owl. What a name. So you have this massive red forest, this one, green, most green forest, and then you got this kind of a mixed forest over here. Let's look at our plants here real quick. And I'm really just kind of looking at what we get the most, what's the most dominant species right now. And that's this guy, even though we're starting to get some grass. That's what that is. So, Wallaka. He's got some interesting leaves. He's got these spiky sort of leaves. I'm betting he's going on I bet he's on this island over here. He's growing really close to where it's cold all the time. Let's see. Called it. Alright, let's look at the animals now. These are growing right up next to the... Okay, now. Let's see, do we see anything? Neither do they at this point. They don't have any eyes. Well, we do have one that's got eyes, but they're on the back of its thing, so it's still essentially a floating head. There's another one with a floating head. Don't know what these things are doing, putting eyes on their butts for, but whatever. Unless we're to assume that this is going to be a whole species of floating heads. Which there's nothing wrong with, it's just a little odd. I wonder if they become sentient. You have this whole planet full of talking heads. It's like having the media. It's like having the mainstream media. Okay, that's a world that I could vote for the Death Star to blow up. A whole world filled with the media. Alright, let's see. There it goes. 112. Okay. still don't have any land animals. As a matter of fact, we don't even have any limbs, which is kind of interesting. Well, I'll probably end up stopping this thing at 10,000 years because, well, more than that is to slow down too much. I'm wondering where that grass is growing. We had a species of grass. See, let me look around. Pull this guy down. Come on, let go of the controls. Thank you. I want to look at this island. I go. Seagrass. Look at that. It's in the water. It's like turning this place into sort of, what is that? There's something growing. We got like a marsh going on over here. Got a little swamp going on right in the middle of things. Wait a minute. It's an odd looking little, two different sets of leaves, and I'm not sure why they have two different leaves, but let's see what we got. Alright, so we've got nothing with eyes in the top 6 species. But we have fins. We actually have limbs now. Let's look at this. They're very crude. They're very primitive. I have no doubt that natural selection is going to kill them off. It makes too much sense. Even though they're still blind. Really should have named this thing after Dan Schneider or something. I don't know. Yeah, see, he's got these little tiny arms. Let's look at the rest of his stuff. Spend a little time on land. Not much, though. Alright, Lodotitus. Which makes me wonder something. Hang on, I'm going to look up something while I'm waiting for this to come up. Latin to English. Okay, when you put the two names together, it spells I wash it. Okay. That's deranged. Area. Okay, what does that one translate into? Vagaries. In other words, something ill-defined. But you're getting plants that are actually growing into the tundra, which is fascinating. Let's see what the animals are looking like now. I'm hoping we'll start getting limbs. Let's see, get rid of that. Grab these guys. Do we have anything with nothing there with eyes in the first thing? We still have this guy over here. We have a leech. We have another thing with limbs. We finally have eyes on this creature called Ganlin. Let's see if that actually translates into anything in Latin. Nope. Okay. What in blue blazes? You see that thing? It's got like these two weird humps on either side. And I think those are supposed to be like water storing humps, so I'm not sure why this thing took them and why he needs them in the water. Yeah, he's got it where his eyes should be. And I am not sure why. But he can spend a good deal of time on land. I'm not sure how that works, unless he's just sitting up there and... Hang on. Doto, which means gifted. Oh, well, hang on. Dotovo. I endow. And tops in Greek means face. So, apparently that means... Okay. It's interesting because when you translate it from Greek into English, it says the Togo, but it means I and faces in like old Greek or old Latin. Hang on, I'm gonna switch that for a second and try. Hang on. Just bear with me a minute. Facium. Huh. So, I'm not sure how that thing moves around. If he can get on land, I'm not sure how. Unless he's crawling along with his food hunts, which would be just a little weird. Not impossible. I've seen some strange things on this game. Alright, we're gonna let it load up again here. What we got. There we go. Now, it's not quite loaded, as you can see, because we're at 0 millennia down here. 5 millennia, okay. Got some bright green plants. What are these? Ogias. We're getting some stuff that's a little more genteel, a little less big and robust. Like the trees we're getting in the upper climates up there by their frozen ring in the middle. Because see what that ring does in this game is it basically inverses the poles to where the cold regions are actually up in the right through the middle where the equator should be. So, and I don't know if I actually get an actual polar region when that happens. That would be a question for Wessels too. Alright, 27 animal species, a lot of different plant species. So we got quite a bit of botanical variance, but the animal species kind of in decline now. Probably because the algae seem to have stagnated in their growth. They got animals up on the land. You would think that animals would start growing. So we'll see what's going on here. Let it load up. Not sure what all this fog is about. But we got some things on the mountain top over here. Let's look at this. Let me. What's this? Okay. So we got something here that's got seeds that should be... I don't expect that one to survive because the fact that its seeds require being able to hook themselves into an animal's fur, and there's nothing up here on land. They would have done better to have evolved something like a dandelion's, wing sort of seeds. Alright, let's see what we got. That species is still number 1. got a predator, but I'm not sure. And there's another floating head. Okay, another one with wings. Look at that. It's got a fat head. Okay, he's got eyes on the front. I wonder how he'll fare. So far, I've noticed that if you're seeing eyes on a creature, it's probably going to go extinct by turn. So we'll see what it does now. And I may have to put this one in the can. We're already 30 minutes in, and I don't want to bore everyone. Okay, this should be doing something. Like I said, at some point this thing gets overbogged and then it locks up. You usually can tell because you'll start getting a lot of species, or the thing will get really crowded and there'll be a lot of everything. Alright, you'll notice the animals are in decline, the plant species are... Okay, now the animal species are recovering. Now we're getting a huge number of plant species, but the animal species are in decline. So I'm not sure why that is. So let's see what we got. I mean, we're getting almost full on forest, but there's nothing in them. There's like a carboniferous forest, but no amphibians. You're getting stuff growing right up into the thing. I don't know what this fog is about. If anything's going to come up on, it'll be right in this area, because that's kind of a shallow, swampy area. What is this? Ah. Let's see what it does now. We're losing a lot of biodiversity among animals. Something else that would be cool would be to have, like, insect species or something. Okay. As you can see, the plant diversity is really good. But there are no land animals, and the aquatic species are in decline, and the algae species are stagnated. It seems to be a very good planet if you want to have a botanical garden. Apparently not so much if you want animals to evolve on it. At least anything past a fish tank. I find it interesting that it's growing in the middle of all this, where you're getting frequent snowfall. What is this black one? Blackwood tree. Look at that. That's like almost like an oak. Look at the animals. Now, at least we should be able to look at the animals. Alright. Do we have anything with anything that would resemble something that they could do on land? That one still cracks me up, the fathead. Glad to see that one still kicking about. That one just kind of makes me scratch my head, and that one just confuses. Alright. I think I'm going to put this one in the can for right now. That one's got two different types of seeds. Maybe it's learning. Anyway, we put this one in the can, and I will catch y'all on the flip side. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, and God bless.